Colonel, I know we've looked at what the situation is like, Armed Forces Remembrance Day, but let's break it down. Let's look at issues of life after service. But you can't talk, can you really talk about life after service without talking about life in service of the soldier? When I say soldier here, I mean Navy.
Yeah, no, I mean, you use it generically. Yes, life in service, for me, and I'm sure for many of my contemporaries, was quite exciting, challenging. I mean, it's the quest for excitement and adventure that got the likes of me to join the army. When I joined the army, it was not fashionable to do so. I had been in the academy and been out before my mother knew that I joined the army. So it was not a thing that parents embraced, as it were. But with all the challenges and difficulties in service, one still went ahead because it was a voluntary decision to join the army. I hear today that parents go to extra lengths to make sure their children go to the academy and all that. But outside service, after service, well, I'm not, how do we put it now? Like I used to say, I'm a lucky bastard. I'm not the typical example of a retiree in the sense that I had a soft landing. By God's grace and the grace of friends, I had a soft landing. But that can't be said for all my contemporaries. Outside service, you are on your own. There isn't, as it is, there isn't any system that caters for the retiree. The one thing, though, that I can say that is going for the system right now is that pensions, would I call that pension? The stipend that is paid comes regularly. I will call it stipend because it's not what anyone can depend on. You can't survive on this. I hope and pray that somebody does something about that. But that is by the way. There are numerous other things that are non-pecuniary that can be done to make it worth the while of anybody who says he's going to join the armed services. I was watching TV some time ago, and somewhere in the US, servicemen were coming from some mission area. They came into a hall, and you know, it was an applause for them. Started by one person, and it resonated all over the place. They were clapping for these heroes. Not so my country. I was somewhere in the States a few weeks ago, and before boarding, they declared that the first to board would be, before the first class and business class passengers, members of the armed forces in uniform. You try such a thing here. Someone is going to say, my friend, keep quiet. What nonsense is that? I bought my ticket just the way he bought his. I am aware that there are rebates on tickets for members of the armed forces outside this climb. Why can't we think of how to do these things? Why, for example, should an ECOMOG veteran who has iron in his bone, in his body, somebody who is convalescent, what justification would there be for not giving such a person a rebate on land to be purchased in any state? Why wouldn't you say, for example, if you are a veteran, okay, we give you X% off the actual value of land. We're not saying give them free land. If you say, okay, because you're a serviceman or a veteran, we give you a piece of land that should go for 100,000, we give you for 50, 60, or 70,000. That would be an incentive. That would be an acknowledgement of sacrifice, but not the way it goes now. And as it is, people see you as, I don't know how to put it. People don't think, they don't appreciate. And that cuts across government, individuals, corporate. Something's got to be done about this.
Captain Umar, do you think the military has done enough to draw that honor that the colonel says is lacking here amongst the citizenry? Has the military personnel, the military as an institution, done enough to get the people to honor them and appreciate them as they should? Or are the people not even seeing all that they're doing?
Both sides are wanting, if you ask me. What I mean by both sides are wanting is it's amazing to actually see potential retirees, I'm talking of serving officers, who are virtually blind to the plight of those that have retired. So when you see a serving officer not actually becoming sensitized or sensitive to the plight of the pensioner, it's like what Chinua Achebe used to call the termite that stews in its own oil and rejoices that, oh, I'm so oily. And still on the side of the military or the armed forces, I am still amazed, I stand to be corrected, to say that the armed forces has no exit plan. There is no career exit plan. And because there is no career exit plan, you had the senior officer just told you he was lucky to have had a soft landing. No career exit plan means you are in for a hard landing, whether you like it or yes. So we go to the other side, our citizens. You see, our citizens too have not appreciated soldiers or ex-servicemen or veterans properly, but there is a correlation to the situation. What's the correlation? For people to clap for you, you have to clap for yourself. Okay? Even footballers don't get clapped for until they score. Technically, the act of scoring that goal, he just clapped for himself. Then the public resonates. So the armed forces will have to celebrate its own. The armed forces will have to do a bit more. The armed forces will have to append a value statement to the ex-soldier, the retirees. The armed forces will have to up its game, if I could put it that way, and then people will take cue. Okay, that's the much I can say.
Sorry, Babu. You are a citizen. Yeah. Do you agree with that?
I agree with him, but what I would like to add to that is that how do the citizens experience the armed forces, members of the armed forces? This is the dynamic that really needs to be addressed. How do I come across a soldier? We still have the mentality of the military days that, oh, the soldiers can brutalize, can do this, but yet these people are every day, putting their lives on the line to protect us. Now, we shouldn't be experiencing the military just via news reportage or when we see them going, when we hear about their exploits at war. There should be this civil relationship where, at times of peace especially, we should experience our military doing other things that are of service to community. Of course, we know that just by being a soldier is a service to the nation. But there are other ways that we can encounter them, such that, for instance, we like to have our soldiers come into classrooms once in a while and relate with children, and volunteer to do things. We would like to see coming back the Nigerian Army Corps of Engineers coming to build bridges in communities. I know some of these things are coming, but usually you see it in the war-torn areas, and usually you see this because after maybe some bashing, the Nigerian military feels it needs to, amend its image. But it should be a matter of system, a matter of culture, that we experience the military in a way that we get to understand that these are people that are here, or they have dedicated their life to serve us. When you have this kind of relationship, then the mentality, the way we perceive the military will be different. And each time those things that have been mentioned, they are nothing too fantastic that we shouldn't do for our military. Members of the armed forces. And it doesn't stop with them. I always keep trying to go back there. There are other people who are also taking risks to protect us. The same should be extended, we see old teachers stay on the queue and die,
but in Lagos, for instance, military personnel in uniforms, the police in uniforms, civil defense, enter buses without paying.
And that's part of the problem, because it's not like the conductor is really happy not to have them pay. Of course, if you're talking about, for instance, the BRT, this is something positive that should be commended if it cuts across. Now, we should have such policies that shows that we appreciate them. But the one you mentioned first, where they get into small buses and say staff, You know, some people want to do things that are illegal. Maybe they want to go via one way. They put a soldier man or a uniform police in the front. These are the kind of ways we experience them in such a way that we feel, oh, these are agents of oppression. You know, and that dynamic needs to change, such that we see them as people who have submitted and subjected themselves to civil authorities, civil institutions. They are here because they want to serve. They are indeed gentlemen. You know, that way the perception will change, and then the way we react when we see them. The respect will then come, and that's why I like the way you have phrased the question. Have they, you know, earned? They have earned it, but the way we encounter them, the way we experience them, it makes it difficult for anybody to think of responding in such a way. And it's something that is important we need to build.